everybody! Today I'm doing the book Courtship Tag and I was tagged by Benjamin of Tomes. I'll link his channel below. I'm really excited to do this tag. Basically, it's different phases of courting or dating and they've got questions for each phase that are book related and I get to pick books to match them. Phase 1, Initial Attraction, a book that you bought because of the cover. For this one, I've got The Archive by Victoria Schwab. As you can all see, this is just the most gorgeous book ever. I don't think it's coming through as nicely on camera, but like this book is actually gorgeous and like at the back is a house and I really want to read this book. It's absolutely beautiful. Phase 2, First Impressions, a book that you got because of the summary. For this, I picked Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I'd seen this around on BookTube and I'd heard bits and pieces about it. So in my local bookshop, I picked up the book and read the back cover and just was immediately intrigued. I'll read it for you now. This is a world divided by blood, red or silver. Reds are commoners ruled by a silver elite in possession of godlike powers. And to Mare Barrow, a 17-year-old red girl from the poverty-stricken stilts, it seems like nothing will ever change. That is, until a twist of fate brings her before the Silver Court. Here, surrounded by people she hates the most, Mare discovers that despite her red blood, she possesses a deadly ability of her own. Fearful of Mare's potential, the king hides her in plain view, betrothed to his youngest son. Trapped, Mare decides to use her new position to bring down the regime from the inside. But this is a game of betrayal and lies, and Mare has entered a dangerous dance. Reds against silvers, prince against prince, and Mare against her own heart. So, yeah, it's pretty intriguing. So I'm really, really excited to read this. I think I'm going to start this today, actually. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Phase 3, Sweet Talk, a book with great writing. For those of you who know me, this will come as no surprise, but for this one, I picked The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. This book is just, the writing in this is utterly beautiful, and anyone who's read this will understand what I mean when I say that. Yeah, this is just the most gorgeous book, and Marcus Zusak deserves so much more credit for this. He's just an amazing writer. Phase 4, First Date, a book in a series which made you want to pursue the rest of the series. For this one, I picked The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This book I read whilst I was in Europe and it was honestly amazing. I read it so quickly. I've talked about this before. Basically, it's set in futuristic London, where there are clairvoyants who are really sort of looked down upon and they're trying to get rid of the clairvoyants. And our main character is a clairvoyant and she has a really, really powerful skill that is very rare among clairvoyants. So she's pretty special and it's a really awesome book. The second one is already out, but I haven't got it yet because I'm waiting for it to come in a smaller edition, but I'm so excited for when that comes out. It should be about, I think it comes out within the next 2 months, so I'm really, really excited to get that. Phase 5, Late Night Phone Calls, a book which kept you up all night. For this phase, I've got The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simmons. This book I finally finished and it will be in my next wrap-up, but I spent the last 2 nights finishing this book. I was up till like 2 a.m. finishing this, but it was really, really amazing and it's been a really long time since a book kept me up late. So I definitely had to include this one in here. For those of you who don't know, this is set during World War II in Russia and follows our 2 main protagonists, Tatiana and Alexander. Tatiana is just a young Russian girl living in Leningrad with her family, and Alexander is a soldier in the Red Army. Phase 6, Always on My Mind, a book you could not stop thinking about. For this one, I picked a sort of interesting book. I picked I, Coriander by Sally Gardner. Now, this book I read about 5 or 6 years ago, so it's been a really long time. And it's not, like, constantly on my mind, but I remember reading it and loving it, and it had a really, really interesting premise that I've never seen in any other book. And so it's always just sort of been in the back of my mind ever since I've read it. This book is set during the 17th century in London, and so, like, around the time of Oliver Cromwell. It has, like, sort of fantasy elements in it. It's quite dark, it's quite twisted. It's sort of got magic in it. I don't really know how to explain it. Like I said, it's been a very long time since I've read it, and I don't really remember all of it, but I know it's got some pretty cool things in this. So, and I know I've never seen anyone ever talk about this on BookTube, so I really hope that maybe people start to read this and enjoy it, because I really remember loving it. And I read this when I was about 12 or 13, so it's definitely young enough for middle grade, but could also be a YA. I'm not quite sure where it fits in, but it's definitely a really, really amazing book. I'll read you the back cover just because it's probably a bit better. I'm Coriander Hovey. I was born in the year of our Lord 1643, the only child of Thomas and Eleanor Hovey, in our great house on the River Thames in London. Of my early years, I remember only happiness, but that was before I knew that this world had such evil in it, and that my fate was to be locked up in a chest and left to die. This is my story, this is my life. So, if that intrigues you, I really recommend reading it, and if you like magic-y, fantasy type things, I definitely recommend this as well. Phase 7, Getting Physical, a book in which you love the way it feels. For this one, I picked Gone Girl, purely just because it's matte. Honestly, any book that's matte I really love the feel of, but I just picked this one particularly because I remember really noticing it when I was reading it. Every book needs to be matte. Every single one of them. Phase 8, Meeting the Parents, a book you would recommend to your family and your friends. For this one, I picked Divergent by Veronica Roth. This is purely because it's got pretty much everything in it, something everyone will love. You've got action, you've got drama, you've got dystopian type elements, you've got a love story. It's young enough for sort of middle grade to read, but it's also sophisticated enough for adults to enjoy it. I haven't heard any bad things about the first book anyway, so I really would recommend this to my friends and my family. Phase 9, Thinking About the Future, a book or series you know you'll reread over and over in the future. For this one, I picked Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. Obviously, I've mentioned this many times, but I just absolutely love this series. It's my favourite series of all time. Currently, that might change, but at the moment, it's my favourite series, and I just cannot get enough of it. I will definitely read it over and over and over again. And then phase 10 is just share the love. Who am I going to tag? I'm going to tag anyone who wants this tag, but in particular I'm going to tag Georgie from Georgie and Yael 2.0. I'll link their channel below. And I also want to tag Megan from Megan Olivier. I will link her channel down below as well. But yeah, anyone who wants to do this is absolutely, you're allowed to do this tag. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. I've got a lot of videos planned, so hopefully you'll see a lot more of me in the future. Bye!